Hello, grizzly bears and polar bears. I'm really missing you guys today. So for our small group reading today, we're going to do textiles from around the world. Okay, so while I'm reading to you guys, I'd really appreciate it if you could truly follow along on the video. I know you guys don't have your books, but I want you to do your best. Also, keep in mind text-to-text connections. How can you relate this text, what we're reading today, to something that you've already read? I want you to keep in mind vocabulary words, and just again, do your best to take your time and look for details and anything that helps you understand the text. Okay, so on page 2, we have our table of contents. Okay, and for a table of contents, we can use this to refer back to specific ideas within the story, okay? So let's go ahead and begin. Page 3, a pretty piece of cloth. What do you see when you look at a beautiful piece of fabric? If you look closely, you will see more than just yarn or threads. You may find shapes, symbols, and colors that tell stories or have special meaning. The Navajo and Hopi. The Navajo and the Hopi have been weaving for hundreds of years. Today, these two nations live mostly in the states of New Mexico and Arizona. In the past, both the Navajo and the Hopi grew cotton and used it to weave clothing, blankets, and rugs. Later, they began to use a special type of wool from churro sheep for weaving. So here we have pictures of what they use for weaving rugs, cotton and churro sheep. Next page. The Navajo and the Hopi have often used brown and white wool, but sometimes they dye the wool yellow, indigo blue, or green before spinning and weaving it. Red is common too, because it is found throughout the landscape. Most Navajo weavers are women, and most Hopi weavers are men. Both the Navajo and the Hopi use an upright loom for weaving. Here we have symmetric patterns and geometric patterns, and we're going to learn about them, but I want you guys to take a second to think. Where have you heard these words symmetric and geometric before? We've talked about them in class. If your guess was math, that's great, okay? And this is going to refresh your memory if you forgot what those two words mean. Weavers like to use intricate patterns. Sometimes the patterns are the same on both the top and bottom or sides. These patterns are called symmetric. Other times the patterns are geometric, which means they have simple shapes like circles and squares. Stripes are common in Hopi textiles. Stripes appear in Navajo textiles as well, along with diamond shapes and zigzag patterns. These designs often have a deeper meaning too. Since the land where the Hopi live is so dry, many Hopi textiles symbolize or stand for rain that helps delicious crops to grow. For example, their belts or sashes often have shapes that represent clouds and fringe that represents flowing rain. Some people think the diamond and zigzag patterns in Navajo rugs represent the landscape, but only the weaver who wove the rug really knows. Many Navajo designs are unique and never have been duplicated. So here, let's look at this unique Navajo rug. It's really beautiful. What kind of pattern do you guys think they're using? Symmetric pattern or geometric? Okay, here we have the Asante. Textiles tell the story of other groups around the world too. The Asante live in an area of West Africa that is part of the country of Ghana today. They are known for weaving kente cloth. Kente cloth is woven into narrow strips on horizontal looms. The strips are usually only a few inches wide, but several feet long. Many strips must be sewn together to create cloth for men and women to wear. So here they're using a horizontal loom. How is that different from the Navajo and the Hopi? Okay, here we have a piece of kente cloth. Kente cloth is usually very bold and bright. Each color has a special meaning. For example, gold stands for royalty and wealth, and blue stands for peace, good fortune, and love. More than 300 kanji patterns have been created using different colors. Many of the patterns are tied to certain ideas. They also have specific names that come from sayings. For example, one pattern is called Sika Frei Moya. This is a saying that means it is important to share your money with relatives. Here we have the Maya. The Maya live in an area of Central America that is part of the countries of Mexico and Guatemala today. The Maya weave using a backstrap loom that is worn around the weaver's waist. Today they use cotton for weaving. In the past they used fibers from the maguey plant. Sometimes they even use the long green and blue feathers from the quetzal bird. Here's the backstrap loom. Mayan textile. Mayan textiles often tell a story too. Some designs represent the days on the Mayan calendar. Some designs use symbols to tell about legends and myths. For example, the myth of a great flood is represented by a vulture symbol in weaving. The diamond shape represents the idea of the world in the directions of north, south, east, and west. Clothing worn by the Maya can also tell about their family, or the area where they live, or how important they are. The Maori. New Zealand's Maori weavers use fibers from the flax plant for their weaving. Maori women do the job of weaving, while men spend time sharpening tools for wood carving. The Maori are very skilled at weaving, but Maori weaving is different from weaving in most other parts of the world. Maori weavers do not use looms. Instead, they weave strands together with their fingers, and they place the fabric on pegs in the ground. So here's flax and Maori weaving. Very interesting. Maori textile. The patterns in the Maori textiles often have special meanings. Some tell about the customs of a particular group. Sometimes one symbol means more than one thing. For example, a diamond motif can stand for either a fish or a group of stars. Woven mats have special meaning too. As a guest in someone's home, you would be happy to see a mat because it means a warm welcome from your host. The beauty of textiles. From welcome mats to brightly colored blankets, textiles are popular around the world. The look and style may be very different from one place to another. The method of weaving may be different too, but it is easy to see that textiles are more than just beautiful pieces of cloth. Textiles come from all over the world. Okay, guys, so what I want you to do after this is you're going to do the responding part. So, conclusions. What do this book's details help you conclude about textiles? Copy and complete the diagram below. So, find a sheet of paper, copy this diagram. I want you to write 3 details and what you can conclude about this book. Okay, you guys can look back at this video as much as you want, just to look back for different details to use. Thank you guys. I hope you have fun.